Hello and welcome to Episode 3, Saving Your Work on an External Drive. My name is Garabed Setrakian and I welcome you to Final Cut Pro X, the Beginner series. This series is specially made for the members of CCTV in Cambridge. Alright, so now in the last episode we were working locally, so I was showing you how to save your work locally. So as we know, in Final Cut, you really can't determine where to save your event and where to save your project. So this is automated in the background, and when you do select Macintosh HD, note please that my hard drive is named Cetra here, so you would be clicking double-clicking Macintosh HD and then coming to the movies for the Final Cut events and the Final Cut projects that were created locally. Now, it's important at CCTV, however, to work on an external drive, and we provide you one on a production basis, or you could purchase one. And let me go ahead and connect mine right now. I'm attaching an external drive to my laptop, and this one happens to be a USB 2.0 drive. So you want to look for the USB port on the laptop or computer, and here I've got my USB port, and also in the event that you might have a Thunderbolt drive, you might want to connect it to this port here. There's also a FireWire 800 port right here, so of course I'm choosing the USB 2.0. When I attach it, it powers up my external drive. The external drive should now show up on the desktop. Alright, now with my external drive attached and appearing on the desktop, I went ahead and renamed it to External HD, just to avoid confusion, and I also renamed the same convention here that the internal drive would be named Macintosh HD as it appears on the CCTV labs. Now I want you to check out now, if you open up Final Cut with this convention, you're going to see that your internal drive now appears as Macintosh HD in the event library, and it also appears in the project library, as does the external hard drive in the event library as well as the project library. So the answer to how do I get my stuff to the external drive is very simple. All I have to do within Final Cut is really to select the actual hard drive. So I'm going to click External HD here. Now before I do that, I do want to show you, go ahead and double click your hard drive. If you haven't created any events or any projects on your hard drive, it would appear as such on your external drive. So double clicking the external drive, now you'll see that it appears under devices in this window in the Finder, and I don't currently have any Final Cut events or Final Cut projects here. But when I go ahead and create a new event, I'm going to go ahead and move this window just to show you guys here. I'm going to select my external drive under the event library, and just in case, this event library will not appear if this is disclosed. So you have to have this area here right above the import button expanded, and I should now see the external HD. So I'm going to select my external hard drive, and I'm going to go File, New Event. And I'm going to call this my external event. Now, where will that appear? You will see that Final Cut automatically created a folder for Final Cut events right in this hierarchy. So this is not in movies. These Final Cut events and Final Cut projects are currently in this computer, and under devices, this new event folder now got created in the hierarchy right on my hard drive. So if I click here, this is where my external event is located. Now again, you cannot change the location of this. This is automated in the background. Same with the project. Okay, so coming to my project library here, okay, I'm going to select my external drive, and this is very important to not only, if you want to be working on an external drive, you want to have both the event in the external drive selected in the event library, and any related project to this event has to be selected right on the external hard drive right in the project library as well. And instead of going, I could do File, New Project, or I could also hit the plus sign here. The plus sign is going to give me the option now to create this new project. So now using automatic settings, and again, you know you're using automatic settings when you depress this, and it disappears as use custom settings, so not to be confused as that. I'm going to select the name of the project, and I'm going to call this External Project. And now you'll see that the default event on this drop down, I'm not selecting sample event. That sample event is essentially this one, which is my internal one. So I'm also making sure that I'm associating this new project with my new event by selecting the default event from this drop down menu, and I'm clicking OK. Now as soon as you do that, an external project appears and the project library slides out, and you now see the timeline for the external project ready to receive anything that you've imported in here, which is going to be our next chapter. Now going back to the project library, this is where I see my external project right underneath this hierarchy. I see my external event right in this hierarchy, and over on my external drive, which is depressed right here, Final Cut now created a new project, Final Cut's projects folder, and my external project appears here. Now please remember, this is exactly what you need to do when you're working at CCTV. As you can imagine, it's very easy to lose your events and your projects. Alright. And this really concludes our this episode. Really, this was just about understanding where to go and how is my stuff saved on an external drive. One of the biggest things I always get asked is, what kind of external hard drive should I use for video editing? Now at CCTV, if you cannot afford to buy your own external drive, we will lend you one on a contracted basis. Please ask the front desk for complete details on this. It is based on a production contract. Now, let's say you decide to buy your own. Hard drives are getting much cheaper these days. Okay, so I'm gonna move over to show you guys a shopping guide for your next external drive. Now, drives are going to range between $69 to about $150, let's say. And the brands that you want to look for are Seagate, which is one of the oldest manufacturers of external drives and hard drives in general in the United States, as well as Western Digital. Now, one company that I'm particularly a huge fan of used to be called Medea, which was purchased by Hitachi. They produce a hard drive called the G-RAID, and these mostly come with FireWire connectivity on the peripherals. For things like Seagate and Western Digital, you're most likely going to purchase a USB 3.0, or it might have a USB 2.0. That should be fine as well. Now, the most important part is this middle section, which I'm highlighting here, is the hard drive speed. The cheapest drive, again, is not the best solution. So here, the speed of the drive, it should be marked on the box. If not, please look it up on the brand's model manufacturer's website. It has to be 7,200 rotations per minute. That's the speed you need, because you're about to accumulate about 3 to 3.5 megabytes per second when you are working with various high-definition file formats. Alright, and that concludes pretty much. Hopefully this was helpful for your own shopping guide, and catch you guys next time. Drive. In the next chapter, we're going to start importing things into this event and start placing it and editing it on the timeline on other chapters. Thanks for joining me on this episode 3 of Where Does My Stuff? How do I save my work on an external hard drive? My name is Garabed Setrakian, and see you in the next episode.